The trigger word for today is nurse.
First off, let's point out the obvious. TV shows and movies do a horrible job of depicting nurses. What do they always say? Don't you die on me. Don't you die on me. The only time I've ever heard a nurse say that is when she was talking about her iPhone or her Kindle. Nurses do care about their patients though. They care about their lives. It really bothers these nurses when their patients die at shift change. Nurses come in all shapes and sizes. You got your black, white, tall, short, awake, asleep. And let's be honest, they do more than just nurse. A nurse doubles as a dentist, she can double as a psychiatrist. My favorite are the ones who double your sedation. Nurses are pretty cool because their title doubles as a verb. By definition, nurses nurse. I'm an RT. You've never seen me try to respiratory before. I feel like if you walk into a room and you saw me trying to respiratory someone, it would end up with me in HR. We do have residents, and we've seen residents do resident things, but that typically ends up in a nurse having to nurse again. At the top of this nursing pecking order is the nurse managers. Often, these are the most credentialed of the nurses. Very intelligent. But they aren't the smartest ones on the unit. No. The smartest ones are the more seasoned nurses who are smart enough not to apply for the nurse manager job. And there's the charge nurses. The charge nurses have a very monotonous job. They go room to room saying the same thing over and over. Hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm the charge nurse. If you need anything, let me know. Then, after they tell all the travel nurses this, they got to repeat the same thing to the patients and their families. Nurse practitioners. Let's see, my wife is a nurse practitioner. And the number of NPs is steadily on the rise. One reason is because now nurse practitioners, they have the freedom to present their jobs in more casual attire. People don't realize how much charting goes into being a nurse practitioner though. See, my wife, she charts so much at home, I now consider her computer a contraceptive. The pussy and the laptop are like a three-way valve. One has to close for the other one to open. ICU nurses, masters of the medication, as I like to call them, or drug lords. ICU nurses are unique. They're the only nurses who use more drugs outside the hospital than inside. The acute care nurses, these nurses, they treat their patients like a game of hot potato. They try to throw the patient to the ICU or to a hospice. And a lot of times they just let the patient hit the floor. And you got your peds nurses. I love my peds nurses, but I don't think peds nurses are taking full advantage of their vision benefits. I can't tell you how many times I had a nurse say, oh, this baby is so cute. Meanwhile, I can't put my finger on which hole this baby came out of. And what about our nurses who are part of the LGBTQ community? My lesbian nurses, some of the feistiest ones you'll find. I have lesbian friends that hate men so much, they won't even use a stopcock. And it's not because it has the word cock in it. They're just so proud of their sexual orientation, they won't even use equipment that goes both ways. And what about their gay counterparts? Now these men will cringe even if they use their name in the same sentence as a straight cat. Placing Foley's while on the clock proves it true that the only way you'll get them to stick something between a woman's legs is if you pay them. Here's a good one. What do you call the meanest nurses on the unit? Preceptors. What do you call the nicest nurses on the unit? Men. People think male nurses have to be extra cautious because they can easily be labeled as perverts since they have to look at breasts and other lady parts all the time. I remind them that they don't look at these parts all day. At some point, they do have to get back to their patient care. Nurses are a tight-knit group. You won't see anybody come together like you will a group of nurses. Am I right? This being due to the fact that you have to whisper while you gossip. Yes, nurses gossip like it's in their job description. If there's one thing I've come to learn about nurses, nothing brings them together, nothing unifies nurses more than the hatred of another nurse. If you've never been privy to these insider gossip groups and you don't know who they talk shit about, you do now. At the end of the day, nurses are resilient. Nurses are more resilient than a vagina. And I say more resilient because only a nurse is willing to overstretch themselves 4 days in a row to take the same load. All jokes aside, people, let's face the facts. Some nurses don't have a soul. I'm not saying that to be mean or even funny. The fact is that you typically lose your soul along the way of saving others. So let's take a moment and give our nurses their flowers. They have a difficult job that they're underappreciated for, underestimated. Let's give them a hand. I'm gonna fucking burn this garage tonight. I swear to God. Happy Nurses Week.